Today we are going to take a look at each of the 124 armor sets there are in Elden Ring. This will include of course what they look like, where to get them, as well as any special properties they have, so you can have your best outfit on when DLC drops. And this is going to be a long one, so sit back, relax. If you end up enjoying the video, make sure to hit the like, and if you want to see more content in the future, you can always hit that subscribe. Now let's get straight into it, starting with the Alberic Set. This is a very light 4-piece sorcerer's outfit that is embedded with red glintstones. The hat, chest, and gauntlets will boost the damage of thorn sorceries by 6% each. However, the legs, nor the altered chest piece, will give a boost. The set is worn by Mad Tongue Alberic, who will invade you at the Round Table Hold. However, you can actually acquire it on the first floor of the Fortified Manor in Lindell. The Albinauric Set is a 2-piece set that consists of the Albinauric Mask, which on top of looking hilarious, raises your arcane by 4. Then you have the Dirty Chainmail, which just makes you chunky. You get the mask near the Guest Hall site of Grace in Volcano Manor. The chainmail though has to be farmed from Albinaurics that are wearing it, with the best farming spot being near the Academy Gatetown site of Grace in Liurnia. If only this was a complete set with gauntlets and greaves. The All-Knowing set makes me uncomfortable because of the eyes and ears sculpted into it, but at the same time, it just looks so damn good. And this armor really is not that heavy, it only has a weight in the mid-20s. Sadly though, it does not have any special effects, but you can alter the chest to get rid of the cloak, which is cool I guess. And you will acquire it in the late game after defeating Sir Gideon off near the All-Knowing at the Erdtree Sanctuary. Only after you turn Lindell to ash. The Aristocrat set I'm sure looked really good at one point in time, but nowadays it is tattered and faded. This is a 3-piece set that does not offer gauntlets, however you get 3 choices for your helmet. It is between the headband, which looks great, the feathered hat, and the old cowl, which will come up again later. There are no unique buffs for this set, and you will need to farm it from noble sorcerers, the best area being the King's Realm ruins in northwestern Liurnia. The Astrologer Set is a very simple 4-piece sorcerer set that is immediately given to you if you choose the Astrologer class at the start of the game. Otherwise, you will need to buy it for 4,500 runes from the Nomadic Merchant in southern Liurnia. I think that there are some cool aspects to this armor, like this golden chain with the pendant on it, but at the end of the day, there's nothing really special about it. Azur's Glintstone set is yet another 4-piece set meant for sorcerers, but it is definitely one of the stronger ones out there, boasting the highest magic damage negation in the game. The crown specifically increases the damage of Comet Azur by 15%, and the damage of Glintstone Comet Shard and Comet by 10%, but with a downside of increasing the FP cost of all sorceries by 15%. You are able to get this after siding with Sorceress Sellen at the end of her questline, and once you do that, return to Sorcerer Azur's location on Mount Gelmir and it's yours. The Bandit Set is the very light starting armor for the Bandit class. In case you didn't go Bandit though, you have the mask, which can be bought from the Nomadic Merchant in Northern Limgrave for 1,500 runes. The rest of the set is sold by Gatekeeper Gustok, who is found here once you arrive at Stormvale Castle. But like I said, it is very light. You shouldn't expect to negate any sort of damage while wearing this. So this is definitely for all of you light loaders out there. The Banished Knight Set is quite an annoying one to get all the pieces for, but it is 100% worth it. The gauntlets and greaves can drop from every Banished Knight that you come across. The altered helmet can be farmed from Banished Knights in Stormvale and Castle Sol. Same for the altered chest, but you can also get it from Banished Knights in Farum Azula. Then you have the unaltered helmet and chest, which also look amazing. The helmet can be farmed at both the Cathedral of Dragon Communion and Farum Azula. However, the chest can only be farmed from 2 specific Banished Knights that are wearing it in Castle Sol. And regardless of this set not having unique properties, it still has solid defenses. Like I said, looks exquisite. I would highly recommend it. Next we have the Battlemage Set, which consists of the Haima Glintstone Crown, then the Battlemage Robe, manchettes, and leg wraps. all of which drops from a specific battle mage enemy found on a hill west of the Windmill Pasture in Altus Plateau. And the crown will increase your intelligence and strength by 2, but it will decrease your total FP by 10%. And if I'm being real, I'm not the biggest fan of the sorcerer sets in this game, but at least some of them get cool crowns. The Beast Champion set is both menacing and beefy. It has this crude look to it that could even give the bravest tarnished chills. If you want, you can alter the chest to knock off the cape, though I don't know why you would. This is definitely in contention for the coolest cape in the game, though it still looks okay without it. And you can snag the full set after defeating Knight Bernal once he invades you at Farum Azula, or you can kill him early on at Stormhill Shack while he's still friendly, though I would not recommend missing out on his quest. The Black Knife set is meant for all of you sneaky assassins out there, as it will muffle the noise you make when moving, only if you leave on the cloak though, so make sure you don't alter it. Once you reach the consecrated snowfield, head north to Ordina Liturgical Town, and you can find the whole set on a corpse under this archway. The Blackflame Monk set is a personal favorite of mine. Nothing crazy here in terms of stats or effects. It just looks nice, and you will have to farm all 4 pieces off of Blackflame Monk enemies, who can easily be found near the Divine Tower of Caelid basement side of Grace, or the Temple of Eagle side of Grace. Blaidd's armor is a middle-of-the-road set that gives you a dog mask, if that's your kind of thing. Once you go through Ranni's questline, you will end up fighting Blaidd, and upon defeating him, you will get the chest, gauntlets, and greaves. And when it comes to the mask, you can grab it from the wall behind Celibus's Rise. I expected this one to have some sort of unique buff or effect, but it does not. At least it is versatile in terms of its looks, though. The Bloodhound Knight set sort of makes you look like a dog too, with its hound skull helmet. This set is on the lighter side in terms of weight, but still offers decent resistances, and you are going to have to take down the Bloodhound Knight guarding this set in Gelmir Hero's Grave on Mount Gelmir. The Bloodsoaked Set is an extremely light 3-piece set that consists of the Bloodsoaked Mask, Bloodsoaked Manchettes, and Official's Attire. The manchettes and mask are located in the tunnels near the underground roadside side of Grace, and the official's attire is found in the opening within the Forbidden Lands Lift chamber. This is something you would wear strictly for looks because it doesn't offer anything outside of that. Then we got the Blue Cloth set, which is the starting armor for the warrior class. You have the blue cloth cowl, the blue cloth vest, the warrior gauntlets, and the warrior greaves. If you decided not to go with the warrior class in the beginning, all you gotta do is buy the set from the isolated merchant who is on the southern bridge of Raya Lucaria. The blue festive set has only 2 pieces, the blue festive hood and the blue festive garb, and they are dropped by dancer enemies that are wearing them in Windmill Village. This set cannot be altered though, unlike the festive set, which we will get to later, and I gotta admit the cape kinda goes hard. The blue silver set is clean as hell, even if it's not the most versatile set in terms of its looks. It has no crazy buffs or anything like that, it just looks amazing. You can farm the entire set from Albinauric Wolfback archers that are found across the consecrated snowfield, with a few being right next to Ordina. The Briar set turns you into a mobile weapon. If you roll into enemies with any piece of this set on, you will inflict a small amount of damage. Just a fun little feature for all of you edgelords who will want to rock it. And once you defeat Elamur of the Briar at the Shaded Castle, you can buy the entire set from Aenea at the Round Table Hold. And this might be the edgiest set of armor in the entire game. The mask alone just gives me the creeps. The Bullgoat set is the heaviest armor set in the game, while also boasting the highest poise and physical defense. It quite literally turns you into the goat. Sadly, to get this set, you will need to keep Patches around and do his quest, which starts at Murkwater Cave. As you progress through it, he will end up at Volcano Manor. Here, he will give you a letter to kill Great Horned Tragoth inside Magma Worm Makar's boss arena. He will only give you the letter once you've done at least one mission for the Volcano Manor Covenant, though, so don't miss that. The Carian Knight Set is meant for all of you Spellblade enthusiasts out there. You will be the most dapper knight in the lands between, no question. You got jewels and chains everywhere. You will straight up look like royalty. And the whole set is found near the giant lift in Raya Lucaria. Whenever you reach this area and you can see the big lift, just walk over here to the right and drop down, head west, and then you should find the entire set next to this altar. or whatever this is. The Chain Set is a goofy looking early game set that you can buy from Merchant Calais at the start of the game. If you're a starting class that doesn't have resistant armor in the beginning, this will definitely help you out for 4,500 runes. The Champion Set is the starting armor for the hero class. This will have you looking like a true barbarian if that is the style that you're going for, but let's say you didn't choose the hero class, you can just buy the set from the Nomadic Merchant in Southern Caelid. The Cleanrot Set looks absolutely spectacular, definitely one of the more eye-catching sets in the game. It is not just for looks though. It is a very solid medium armor to use in combat. Also, the high immunity and robustness it has will increase your resistance to poison, scarlet rot, bleed, and frostbite. And all you gotta do to get this set is farm Cleanrot Knights. The best spot to do that is definitely Aeonia Swamp in Caelid. The Commoner set has 4 pieces to it. The Commoner's Garb and Shoes can be farmed off of Commoner enemies that can easily be found in Stormvale and Lindell. The Simple Garb and the Altered Headband can also drop from these enemies. The unaltered Commoner's Headband, however, can only be looted off of a corpse in Mount Gelmir just ahead of the Temple of Iglay side of Grace. You know, this is your typical cloth set, and yeah, not really a lot to say here, but I do like the headband. The Confessor set belongs to the Confessor starter class. It is also sold by the Nomadic Merchant on Mount Gelmir. It's not really a bad starting armor set at all, but by the time that you can buy it, you will have most likely come across something better. Oh yeah, and the hood and chest can be altered, except it kinda looks like doo-doo. The Consort's mask, robe, and trousers are only available to the player after the Rykard fight, which is part of the Volcano Manor questline. Once you defeat him, reload the area, and you will find Lady Tanith next to Rykard's body. Hit her, then her Crucible Knight will spawn and try to fight you. Take him down, and the set is yours. Also, the mask will raise your dexterity by 1, which is whatever. The Crucible Axe set is one of 2 armor sets that the Crucible Knights are known for wearing. Every piece that you have on will boost the damage of the Crucible Aspect incantations by 4%. The entire fit will drop from Knight Ordovus upon defeat, who can be found at the end of a Riza hero's grave. Oh, and you can choose to remove the small cape if you want to. And same is the case for the Crucible Tree set. If I'm being honest here, this is the variant I would prefer to wear. Both Crucible sets share the same gauntlets and greaves. However, as you can see, the chest and helmet are different. Sadly though, this is not an armor set that you can mix well with others because of the intense bronze color, which does blow a little bit. But this set drops from Knight Solaria, who is found at this location in the Deeproot Depths. The Cuckoo Knight Set is worn by the Rea Lucaria Knights that are found all across the Liurnia of the Lakes region. However, the best place to farm them is northeast of the East Rea Lucaria Gate side of Grace. I've never been a huge fan of the regional knight armor sets in this game. On its own though, this one doesn't look too bad. Okay, now the Depraved Perfumer Set just slaps. This is sort of a flashy, eccentric set that is incredibly light, and it also buffs the hell out of all your resistances to status effects. I really love the colors that they used for it. It's decently versatile. All you gotta do to get it is farm the Depraved Perfumer enemies, and they can be found around the Shaded Castle in Altus Plateau, or a single one can always be found near the village of the Albinaurics in Liurnia. The Drake Knight set is sort of in the same vein as the Crucible Knight armor, where components of it aren't going to fit super well with other sets. However, just the set on its own is stunning. The helm and chest can be altered as well, though I like them better unaltered. And the whole set is found within a chest outside the lift near the Dragon Temple rooftop side of Grace in Faramazula. The Duelist Set will make you feel like a gladiator, or at least that's how it makes me feel. You have the Duelist Helm, Gravekeeper Cloak, and the Duelist Greaves, and the cloak can be altered so you only have the bracelets on, and it can be easily farmed from the Duelist enemies near the Lindell Coliseum. The Eccentric Set should be worn only if you want to be the most eccentric tarnished in the lands between. The altered hood does turn you into a bearded metal bald man, which is absolutely awesome. The eccentric manchettes are usually a part of my main fashion I use too. Nothing insane insane in terms of defenses for this set though, and you will get every piece from defeating Witch Hunter Garen during Sorceress Sellen's questline. The Elden Lord set always looks a bit too bulky no matter how large you make your character in this game. It makes sense though, considering this is the armor worn by Godfrey, who is a rather large man, and you will be able to purchase the entire set from Enia at the Round Table Hold after you defeat Godfrey / Hoaraloo. You can only fight Godfrey though once you burn the Erd Tree. The Errant Sorcerer Set consists of the Herodes Glintstone Crown, then the Errant Sorcerer Robe, manchettes, and boots. It gives the same vibes as the Battlemage set. Nothing about it really wows me though. The crown will buff your intelligence and endurance by 2, which is something, and the whole set can be found on 2 corpses within the Hermit Village on Mount Gelmir. That's about it for the Errant Sorcerer set, and really quick before we move on, allow me to tell you about my new and improved PC line from Apex Gaming PCs. The parts and the prices have only gotten better recently. You have low, medium, and high-end options that are all made with Nvidia's latest offerings, and for the month of May you can get 10% off of your order when you use my code MONK at checkout. So if you want to play your favorite titles on a brand new gaming rig, you should definitely check these out. You can find the link to them down below in the description, and yeah, that's all I got. You guys are the best, and back to the video. The Exile set is extremely basic. It drops from exiled soldiers, and these enemies can be found really early in the game all over Stormvale Castle. Nothing really special here. I will admit though that the hood and cloak do look cool. The Festive Set, which if you remember from earlier, is very similar to the blue Festive Set. Between the two, the color of the hood is the only thing that changes, and once again this drops from the dancer enemies that are wearing it in Windmill Village, and both pieces can be altered. Fia's set has a hood and robe. I'm not totally sure why you would want to wear this. It has no special properties whatsoever, unless you want to air out them dogs, and it doesn't really offer a lot in the negation department. At the end of Fia's quest, go to where she used to be at the Round Table Hold, and you will find the set. You know, if it wasn't for the massive bloodstain on the skirt, the Finger Maiden set is actually peaceful looking. It's very lightweight. It's definitely not going to be your best option in terms of armor, kind of like Fia's set, and you get the entire thing once you reach the Church of Inhibition in northeastern Liurnia. The Fingerprint Set is the set worn by Vike, a Tarnished who was extremely close to becoming Elden Lord, but decided to go under the capital and embrace the Frenzied Flame instead. I really love the purplish tint that this armor has, along with the slightly melted texture of the fingerprints. And you can get this whole set from defeating Round Table Knight Vike at the Lord Contender's Everjail in the Mountaintops of the Giants. The Fire Monk set probably looks familiar, considering we saw the Blackflame version earlier in the video. Definitely one of the more vibrant armor sets in the game because of that orange and red chest piece. It doesn't have the worst stats in the world, however it doesn't really have a special effect. There are multiple places you can farm for this set, such as the Fire Monk camps in eastern Liurnia, Fort Blaidd on Mount Gelmir, or the Guardian's Garrison in the Mountaintops. The Fire Prelate armor is one of the beefiest in the game with a poise rating of 96. You will have great resistances and damage negation if you're rocking this, although you will look slightly atrocious. The set drops from Fire Prelate enemies. The altered set can drop from the Fire Prelate found inside Fort Blaidd. The unaltered version is dropped by the Fire Prelate in front of the Guardian's Garrison. So if you're going out of your way to get the Fire Monk set, you might as well get this one too. The first set will have PETA at your front door. You have the Great Horned Headband, the Fur Raiment, and the Fur Leggings that combine to give you this cozy look. All 3 pieces can drop from Ancestral Follower enemies that can be found in Siofra River and the Mausoleum Compound in Liurnia. The Gelmir Knight Set is dark, gritty, and it's one of the regional knight sets that I enjoy a bit more than the others. This set was worn by Gelmir Knights who served Rykard, and I say was because Gelmir Knights no longer exist in the lands between. So the only way to get this set is to loot it off of a corpse that is found in Gelmir Hero's grave. The General Radahn set is a heavy armor that resembles a golden lion with a red mane. It also has what is my favorite cape in the entire game. However, if capes aren't your thing, you can always alter the chest. Of course, this set becomes available once you defeat General Radahn in the Wailing Dunes. After that, go to Ania at the Round Table Hold and buy it for 36,000 runes. The Godric Foot Soldier set is nothing remarkable. Both its looks and stats are meh. It has no special effects because why would it? The helmet does look funny though. You can farm every piece from Godric Foot Soldiers, and 3 can be found south of the Agheel Lake South side of Grace. The Godric Knight Set is the earliest regional knight set you can acquire in the game, with the best farming spots being the Gatefront Ruins and the camp east of the War Master's Shack. This would not be an awful set to wear in the early game, and if you like the orange and green color combo, I'd say definitely go for it. And as is the case for all of the other regional knight sets we're gonna get to, you can always take off the cape if you don't like it. The Godric Soldier set is yet another set you can farm at Gatefront Ruins. It has the same color scheme as the Godric Knight armor, and yeah, that's really it. It's not terrible for the early game, but you most likely won't look at it twice. The Godskin Apostle set gives me the creeps, considering it was made by sewing together patches of smooth skin. You can even see eye sockets on the hood and the back. This set is extremely light, so it's easy to light roll with. It's not going to offer much in terms of defenses though, and you get it from defeating the Godskin Apostle boss below the Divine Tower of Caelid. The Godskin Noble set, while it makes you fat, is almost as light as the Apostle set. The chest piece also has a bonus within all that blubber, where it increases the damage of the Noble Presence spell by 20%. Though Noble Presence is a very disappointing spell and not really worth using, even with the bonus. You will get the full set after defeating the Godskin Noble on the bridge leading to the Divine Tower of Liurnia. Gold Mask's set gives you nothing but this mask, some rags, bracelets, a couple shin guards, and a golden jockstrap. Yeah, that's it. Oh, and the mask will boost the damage of Golden Order incantations by 10%, which is found on a part of the collapsed bridge near Wraithblood Ruins in Altus Plateau. The rags, bracelets, and waist wrap, however, are found on Goldmask's body in the Ashen Capital after completing Brother Corrin's questline. The Guardian set is decently drippy. Looks alone can't really save it though. It isn't that great, and there is a quote-unquote full bloom version of the chest you can get that will increase the healing you get from red flasks by 10%, but it greatly reduces your fire resistance. The whole set drops from Erdtree Guardian enemies, which can be found around minor Erdtrees across the Lands Between, but the best area to farm them is on the large branches outside of the Erdtree Sanctuary in Lindell. The Guilty set has the Guilty Hood, Cloth Garb, and Cloth Trousers. It's as good as you would expect. Terrible negation, but it's super light, has no special effects. The garb and trousers are found in Murkwater Cave, while the hood can be bought from the Nomadic Merchant on Mount Gelmir. The Haligtree Foot Soldier set is a 4-piece set where 2 of the pieces can only be farmed off of Godric Foot Soldiers, that is, the gauntlets and the greaves, as is the case for all of the other Foot Soldier sets we'll get to later. But then you have the Sacred Crown Helm and the Ivory Draped Tabard. Those will actually drop from Haligtree Foot Soldiers themselves, who are of course found all over the Haligtree. The Haligtree Knight Set is definitely the cleanest looking regional knight set out of the bunch. However, this will most likely end up being the last one that you get your hands on, considering you need to be in the Haligtree to get it. For the helmet, it is looted off of a corpse that is near the Elphael Inner Wall side of Grace. The rest of it can be farmed off of 2 Haligtree Knights that are found close to that same Grace. And it seems I had the wrong gauntlets on there for a second, so here is what the actual ones look like. The Haligtree Soldier set is also extremely clean. Still no special buffs or properties though. Once again, you are going to end up in the Haligtree if you want this set. Just north of the Prayer Room side of Grace, you will find multiple Haligtree Soldiers that you can easily farm. The High Page set shares trousers with a similar set we will get to later. It is a 3-piece set that has no gauntlets. It has a weight under 10, so you can easily light roll. The chest piece looks incredible, and you can alter it. High page enemies are definitely scarce in the Lands Between though, making it easy to miss this fit. The first one you can find is in Rhea Lucaria, on the 2nd floor of the Church of the Cuckoo. and there are multiple buildings throughout Lindell where you can find them as well. And this is something you would strictly wear for fashion purposes. It is not going to offer any sort of protection. If you literally want to look like mud, the Highwayman set is for you. It does use the Foot Soldier Greaves that drop from Godric Foot Soldiers. Other than that, you can farm the rest of the pieces in Murkwater Cave by killing Highwayman enemies. Hoslo set makes me feel like Trevor Belmont from Castlevania. The shining silver plate with the red accents is nothing short of eye-catching. You also have two choices for your helmet, although they aren't acquired together. The original set drops from Juno Hoslo, who is your final assassination target for the Volcano Manor quest, and the Shack of the Lofty in the mountaintops is where you invade him. As for the alternate mask, Dialos' mask, you can kill Dialos in Liurnia when you first find him to get it, or you can stay friendly with him and complete his quest, and then receive the helmet at the end. The House Moraeus set only has a robe and mask. The mask is pretty dope and it increases your arcane by 1, but the robe is basically the same thing as the official's attire from earlier, and it has no defensive capabilities whatsoever. All you gotta do to get the set is defeat Malay Moraeus, who is found west of the Shaded Castle. The Iron set consists of the Iron Helmet, Scale Armor, Iron Gauntlets, and Leather Trousers. All of it can be bought for the low cost of 1,500 runes from the Nomadic Merchant near the Castlemorn Rampart side of Grace. A lot of versatility with this set in terms of its looks, yet I never see anybody use it. That could be because of the mediocre stats though. The Juvenile Scholar cap and robe make up the Juvenile Scholar set. There is literally no reason to use this set at all. Terrible resistances and damage negation. It looks goofy. I guess the only good thing about acquiring it is that a larval tier comes with it. Once you get the resurrection painting at the Artist Shack in Eastern Liurnia, then go to the graveyard east of Caria Manor, and once you are in this area, you should find a ghost sitting on a chair. Walk up to it, and it will drop the set along with a larval tier. The Kaiden set is the excellent looking light armor worn by the Kaiden sellsword enemies. You can take any piece from this set and mix it in with so many others, and you will be able to start your early game in style because luckily for you, Kaiden sellswords are found all over Limgrave. A more specific area though would be northeast of the Agil North side of Grace. The Knight set is for those of you who enjoy being a basic vanilla knight. Right as you reach the Round Table Hold, you can buy the entire set from the Twin Maiden Husks. It is a fantastic early game set with solid resistances and damage negation. It might be a little bit too boring visually for some players though. The Land of Reeds set is one of, if not my favorite armor set in the entire game. If you start with the Samurai class, you get it immediately. Visually it goes so hard, and defensively it's really not that bad for the weight. The thin iron plates with the red and orange fabrics come together so nicely. If you didn't start as a Samurai though, you can buy the set from the Isolated Merchant in the far north section of Caelid. The Lazuli Sorcerer Set is obviously a set for mages. The Lazuli Robe is dropped by the Lazuli Sorcerers that can be found in Rhea Lucaria. The Sorcerer Manchettes and Sorcerer Leggings can be farmed from Glintstone and Twin Sage Sorcerers that also appear all over Rhea Lucaria. Now, the Lazuli Glintstone Crown will buff your intelligence and dexterity by 3, but it reduces your overall health by 18%, which is awful. If you still want it though, it drops from a crystallized crab found in a tower, only accessible from the Rhea Lucaria rooftops. The Leather set is worn by everybody's favorite NPC, Patches, except for the Black Hood, which is found in a chest behind an illusory wall within Sage's Cave in Altus Plateau. And I am just now realizing that there are throwing daggers in the sleeve, which is a very nice touch. If you want the rest of the set, you are going to have to dispose of Patches in whatever way you see fit. You can find him first in Murkwater Cave. The Lindell Foot Soldier set is just another Foot Soldier set, nothing really to it. Once again, you will get the gauntlets and greaves from Godric soldiers, but the leather draped tabard and gilded Foot Soldier cap can drop from Lindell Foot Soldiers themselves. There are multiple that you can farm near the Road of Iniquity side path side of Grace in Altus Plateau. The Lindell Knight set has a nice balance between magical and physical defense. It's the golden armor you would expect to see in an area such as the Royal Capital. The chest is alterable, but you may find it hard to mix with other sets, and every single piece will drop from Leyndell Knights, 2 of which can be found very close to the Altus Highway Junction side of Grace, and they are all over Leyndell. The Leyndell Soldier Set. It's gold, and it drops from Leyndell soldiers that can be found all over Leyndell, or you can head to Mount Gelmir and farm the ones west of the first Gelmir campsite side of Grace. Whatever you choose to do, it should not be too hard to get. Lynel's set is as goofy as it is strong. You may look like a bowling ball, but this is one of the heaviest armors in the game, with its poise rating of 86 and high resistance values. I gotta say, FromSoft did a great job with the Fat Man armors in this game. They are all very unique, and the whole set is found on this corpse right here, which is right next to the Lower Capital Church Grace in Leyndell. Lusat's set is very similar to Azur's set from earlier, except this time you look like Megamind and you have blue crystals on your robe instead of green. Lusat's Glintstone Crown will increase the damage of Stars of Ruin by 15%, Star Shower and Glintstone Stars by 10%, but increases the FP cost of sorceries by 15%. It is acquired through Sorceress Sellen's questline. Once you side with her in the end, go back to Master Lusat's body in Celia Hideaway, and the set will be there. Malenia's set is of course worn by one of the most famous and deadly characters in this game, Malenia, the Blade of Mikola. You get her prosthetic arm, you got the dogs out, the helmet looks badass, you can even alter the chest if you'd like, and while it does look great, its stats are not, which kind of blows. Once you defeat Malenia in the Haligtree, you can buy this set from Enia at the Round Table Hold for 56,000 runes. The Malformed Dragon set goes hard. Definitely one of the more menacing looking sets in the game. The Draconic Tree Sentinels who wear this armor killed me more times than I'd like to admit. The armor has decent stats, but I think it is more for aesthetics. You also get it very late game from the Draconic Tree Sentinel on the Great Bridge of Farum Azula. That guy right there. Now Malekith's armor is downright exquisite. FromSoft knew exactly what they were doing with this set and just Malekith's design in general. The black plate with gold trim is perfection, and that helmet with the white mane is chef's kiss. The visual design is definitely a 10 out of 10 in my book. It has a weight of 30, the stats are okay. I kind of wish there was something more to it in terms of unique buffs or properties though. And right after you defeat the Draconic Tree Sentinel on the Great Bridge, you can go into Malekith's arena and fight him. And once you defeat him, you can buy the set from Enia at the Round Table for 56,000 runes. The Marionette Soldier set only has 2 pieces to it, both of which are rusty and repulsive looking. Well, I guess the helmet isn't so bad. It's just a very, very strange outfit. If it is your taste, though, you can farm Marionette Soldiers who can be found all over Liurnia, and more specifically, Rhea Lucaria. All 3 Mausoleum armor sets we're going to look at are as edgy as it gets. None of them have helmets because none of the enemies they drop from have their heads attached. The Mausoleum Foot Soldier set gets its greaves and gauntlets from, once again, Godric Foot Soldiers. The Bloodsoaked Tabard, though, drops from Mausoleum Foot Soldiers themselves, whom of which can be found in the consecrated snowfield to the far northwest. The Mausoleum Knight armor gives you winged-shaped ornaments arching over your shoulders. I wish more regional armor sets had cool accessories like this because it adds so much more character, and you can easily farm all the pieces to this set from the Mausoleum Knight, found just outside the Black Knife Catacombs in northeastern Liurnia. And the Mausoleum Soldier set is a bloody helmetless mess like the others. You can find multiple Mausoleum Soldiers patrolling east of the East Gate Bridge Trestle side of Grace in Liurnia, making it an effortless farm for those of you who want to intimidate other Tarnished with your fit alone. The Mushroom set makes you look like a walking infection, and I absolutely love it. It has the highest immunity stat out of every armor set, which is your resistance to poison and scarlet rot. The normal set is located within Seathwater Cave near Mount Gelmir, and there is an extra helmet that you can get for it, which is the Mushroom Crown. Having the crown on will increase your damage by 10% for 20 seconds after you land poison or scarlet rot, and it is found on a body hanging off of a column in the southeastern section of the Lake of Rot. The Night Maiden set is one of 3 quote-unquote Nox sets that all share the same bracelets and greaves. however have different chest and head pieces. To get the Night Maiden crown and armor, you will need to farm Night Maidens found in both Nokrin and Nokstella. And there are 2 near the Knight's Sacred Ground side of Grace that are easy to take out. The second one is the Nox Monk Set. It has the Nox Monk hood and Nox Monk armor. The hood is a lot less crazy looking than the Night Maiden's crown. The chest is about the same though. It can also be altered along with the hood. These of course drop from Nox Monk enemies that can quickly be farmed northwest of the Nokstella Eternal City side of Grace. And finally, the third is the Nox Swordstress Set, which is basically like the Night Maiden set, except you have a singular point on the Nox Swordstress crown, as opposed to 2 on the Night Maidens. The Nokstella Eternal City side of Grace is totally fine for farming Swordstresses too, and remember, all 3 of the enemies I just talked about will drop the same gauntlets and greaves. The Knight's Cavalry set is as black as obsidian, and it is splashed with some dried blood to increase the edginess. The altered helmet and chest both look really good. In terms of stats, it's not the greatest in the world, but who am I kidding? You're most likely wearing this for fashion reasons anyway. You get the set along with an Ancient Dragon Smithing Stone after you defeat the 2 Knights Cavalry that are guarding the carriage in the inner consecrated snowfield. The Noble set is a 4-piece set that has 2 options for the hood. The Crimson Hood will increase your vigor by 1, while the Navy Hood increases your mind by 1. The full set along with the Navy Hood can be found at East Windmill Pasture in Altus Plateau. The Crimson Hood is only available after you complete Roderika's questline, and it will appear in a room adjacent to the Grafted Scion sub-boss in Stormvale Castle. The Nomadic Merchant set has 3 pieces to it: the chapeau, finery, and trousers. And if you want to talk about fashion, this is the definition of fashion. Nothing else in the game really has colors like this. The cape is almost mesmerizing to look at up close. It's a bit weird to get access to this set though. First, you must beat the Moog mini-boss in the Lindell sewers to unlock the Cathedral of the Forsaken side of Grace. Once you are here, go to the altar and roll, then keep moving forward until you come across a frenzied guy, like this guy right here, and then try to get him to attack these tents over here. The tents will break, and then the set is yours. Oh god! The old Aristocrat set, if the first one wasn't old enough, is just comical. You have the cowl, gown, and shoes. It doesn't offer shit in terms of stats. Old Aristocrat enemies aren't that common anyway, so there's no real reason to go out of your way to get this, but a solid spot is near the Church of Vows in Liurnia. You should wear the Omen set if you really want to become the Lord of Doo-Doo, the Dung Eater himself. This is a super heavy set of armor, with big boy defenses and resistances, and having every piece on will increase the damage of both Omen Barons by 20% if you like to use those. And real quick, if you are one of those menaces that chose the Dung Eater ending, go ahead and make yourselves known in the comments. The Omen Killer set has the Omen Smirk Mask, which raises your strength by 2, then the robe, long gloves, and boots. The mask drops from an Omen Killer near the Lower Capital Church side of Grace in Lindell, which is also where you get the Lionel set. The rest is dropped by a different Omen Killer over in the Perfumer's Ruins near Mount Gelmir. And I would say everything outside of the mask should be worn for fashion purposes. The Page set is the lamer version of the High Page set, although they share the same trousers. To get the normal Page hood and garb though, you will of course need to farm normal Page enemies. Just head to the Royal Moongazing Grounds side of Grace in Caria Manor, walk out of this doorway, and you will find 3 of them on the stairs. The Perfumer set looks like FromSoft tried to mix the Omen Killers and Nox armors, and it turned out great. You can farm all of it from Perfumer enemies, which are conveniently found in Perfumer's Grotto and the Perfumer's Ruins. Then you have the Perfumer Traveler's set, which is found within the Streets of Sage's Ruins in Caelid. You have the Traveler's Hat, gloves, slops, and the Perfumer's Traveling Garb. Apparently perfumers with 0 renown would wear this, which is kinda funny to me. The Preceptor Set is a sorcerer set that belongs to Celevis, and you have two choices for your helmet. The Big Hat, which will raise your mind by 3 but decrease your stamina by 9%. Second is the Mask of Confidence, which will raise your arcane by 3. The rest of the set, along with the Big Hat, is found on Celevis's body at his tower once you complete Ranni's quest. The Mask of Confidence is found individually within the Carian Study Hall after you use the Carian Inverted Statue. The Prisoner Set has everything but gloves, and it is the starting armor for the Prisoner class. Otherwise, you will have to buy it from the Hermit Merchant in Ainsel River. Oh, and the mask gives me nightmares. The Prophet Set doesn't have gloves either, and is the starting armor for the Prophet class. If you chose a different class though, go to the Hermit Merchant at his shack in Lindell, and you can buy it for 3,500 runes. The Queen of the Full Moon set has robes, bracelets, leggings, and a funny looking crown. And the crown will raise your intelligence by 3, so that's cool. Once you defeat Renala in Rhea Lucaria Academy, you will be able to buy the set from Aenea at the Round Table for 31,000 runes. The Radahn Foot Soldier set gets its gloves and leggings from Godric Foot Soldiers, but the Scarlet Tabard and Foot Soldier Helm comes from Radahn's. Nothing too interesting going on here, and you can find these guys to farm all over Caelid in case you want to farm them. The Radahn Soldier set obviously drops from Radahn Soldiers, and I gotta say the colors on this chest definitely stand out. However, because of these colors, it's not going to be super versatile in terms of looks. But if you want to farm for this, you can find a load of Radahn soldiers near Fort Gale in Caelid. And of course, we can't forget the Maiden Knight Set, which can also easily be farmed at Fort Gale. And just like with the rest of the Knight sets, you can throw the cape off if you want. And yeah, definitely a cool set. Once again, nice color scheme. I am definitely a fan. The Raging Wolf set is definitely a fan favorite, worn by Vargrim the Bloody Wolf, who was the first ever Tarnished to visit the Round Table Hold. And while it does stand out on its own, it can mesh with a lot of other sets too, so there is some versatility here. It is more of a medium armor, so it's not the best in terms of damage negation, but don't let that turn you away from it. You will get it after assassinating Vargrim and Wilhelm in the Fortified Manor for the second to last Volcano Manor mission. The Raptor set is basically a revamped Bandit set. You have the Skeletal Mask, Raptor's Black Feathers, which increase your jump attack damage by 10%, then the Bandit Manchettes and Bandit Boots. And it's very light, so if you like light rolling, this is right up your alley. Both the mask and the black feathers are found together in a chest behind an illusory wall within Sage's Cave. And if you remember from earlier, you get the manchettes and the boots from Gatekeeper Gustok in Stormvale Castle. And here we have the final collection of regional armors, the Rhea Lucarian ones. I already did the Cuckoo Knight set though, so we only have 3 more. The helmet and tabard for the Foot Soldier variant is probably the most bland of them all. And at this point you know where the greaves and gauntlets come from. If for some reason you want to farm for this set, Rhea Lucarian Foot Soldiers can be found all over Liurnia. The Rhea Lucarian Soldier set is giving us some good color here, but it is not anything special. You can loot this off of Rhea Lucarian Soldiers in Academy Gatetown, or you can farm the Spectral ones in Caria Manor. And finally, you have the Rhea Lucarian Sorcerer Set. The robe, sorcerer manchettes, and sorcerer leggings can all be looted from sorcerers found all over the academy. But then you have 4 different choices for a helmet. The Karalos crown, or at least I think that's how it's pronounced, raises your intelligence by 3 but reduces stamina by 9%. And it drops from a crystallized crab on the western side of the courtyard near the debate parlor. The Twin Sage crown raises your intelligence by 6 but lowers your health and stamina by 9%. And it is found on the 2nd floor of the Church of the Cuckoo. The Olivinus crown raises intelligence by 3 but lowers health by 9%, and it is found behind an illusory wall in the hallway near the schoolhouse classroom side of Grace. I also love the expression that this crown is giving, it's such a meme. And finally, the Witch's crown raises arcane and intelligence by 3, but it lowers your stamina by 18%. and you will get this at the end of Sorceress Sellen's quest. The Ronin set that I adore so very much has gauntlets, greaves, and armor, then the Iron Casa for the helmet. It is on the lighter side, but each piece can fit in with a bunch of other sets, and it offers fantastic resistances for the weight, which is the main reason why I use it. You get the full set after killing Shabriri at Zamor Ruins in the Mountaintops of the Giants, which is involved in Yura's quest line. The Rotten Duelist set is the Duelist set from earlier, however it has been corrupted by Scarlet Rot, giving it a very vibrant red color. It has solid robustness and immunity for the weight, and apparently wearing this set will give you a slight Shabriri's Woe effect, where enemies will be more likely to aggro onto you in multi-combat. And you have to get each piece from killing different Rotten Duelists in the Mountaintops. One is northwest of the consecrated Snowfield site of Grace, the second is a boss in the Snowfield Catacombs, and the third is northwest of Ordina, so a bit of a chore to get, but it is cool looking. The Royal Knight set is the armor worn by Knight Loretta. The helmet is definitely one of my favorites just because of its obnoxious look. The armor has one of the highest magic defenses in the game, and it is decently heavy. You can purchase it from Ania at the Round Table Hold after you defeat Knight Loretta at her Haligtree location, not the Knight Loretta at Caria Manor. The Royal Remains set is amazing if you would like to regenerate health while on the brink of death. For every piece that you have on, you will regenerate 2 health per second, totaling out to 8 per second, but this is only while under 18% health. You can find the whole set on the ground next to Gideon's room after you conquer Insha's invasion of the Round Table Hold. The Ruler set can be found on a corpse that is lying on a carriage northeast of the abandoned coffin site of Grace in Altus Plateau. It only has 2 pieces, the Ruler's robe, then the Ruler's mask, which increases your faith by 1. The Sage set offers basically nothing. You have the robes worn by Gowry and Necromancer Garrus, as well as the hood worn by Gowry, and that's it. Oh, and you do have some trousers too. You can find the entire set in Stillwater Cave, which is right under the lake-facing cliffs in Liurnia. The Sanguine Noble set is of course worn by Sanguine Nobles, and it only has a weight of 9, so it is very, very light. It also has good focus and vitality stats. You get it very late in the game though, after defeating the Sanguine Noble Invader north of the Yellow Annex ruins in the consecrated Snowfield. The Scaled set is a solid baseline heavy armor set that is worn by Old Knight Istvan, who ends up being an assassination target of yours in the Volcano Manor questline, and you will invade him at the Limgrave Coliseum. Across the board, this armor is great. You can't go wrong with using it. The Shaman set is related to the fur armor we saw earlier. You have the Shining Horn headband, Shaman furs, and the Shaman leggings. The headband will boost the damage of the Ancestral Infant's head by 20%, and it is a guaranteed drop from a specific Ancestral follower Shaman that is singing north of the Ancestral Woods, which is in Siofra River. The legs and chest, on the other hand, can be looted off of any Ancestral Shaman that you come across in the Ancestral Woods. The Snow Witch set is worn by everyone's favorite Elden mommy, Ranni, and it includes everything but gloves. The Snow Witch hat strengthens cold sorceries by 10%, but sadly it's the only piece that does, and the entire set is found in a chest within Renna's Rise. The Spellblade set will boost the damage of Magic Ashes of War by 2% for each piece, so you can look fly as hell while decimating fools with your intelligence. The original owner of this armor is Sorcerer Rogier, and if you want it, you will need to finish his quest. And this is a very light armor set, so the defenses aren't going to be that great, but it does look damn good. The Traveler set is worn by 2 of the best NPCs in the game, Melina and Millicent. It does not come with a helmet, nor do you have access to the green cloak Melina wears with hers, but it is light, so you will be speedy as hell. The set is found in an underground side room near the Haligtree Roots site of Grace in the Haligtree. The Traveling Maiden set is just some dusty brown and pink robes. It does boast some high focus and vitality stats, but that's all there is to note. and you will find the set on a corpse inside the Shack of the Lofty in the mountaintops. The Tree Sentinel set, in all of its golden glory, is easily one of the best armor sets in the entire game. High damage negation, high resistances, high poise, this set has it all. Make sure you have your endurance up though if you'd like to wear it because it is heavy. You will need to solve the chariot puzzle in Ariza Hero's Grave to actually get the set though, which I will not be showing here today, but there are tons of tutorials out there. The Twinned set is one of the more odd sets out there. It's not that great with its stats, but visually it will turn some heads. As you can see, it looks like conjoined twins between the chest and the helmet. Quite a freaky concept here. And you will get the set after doing Dee's quest line, or just killing him whenever you first meet him near Summonwater Village. The Vagabond Knight armor set is the starting armor set for the Vagabond class, and I am sort of indifferent about this armor set. I mean, it's definitely not bad for the early game, but it will not take you long to get an armor set that is better. And let's say you did not choose Vagabond in the beginning of the game, you will need to buy the entire thing from the nomadic merchant that is located here in the mountaintops. The Veteran set is also one of the best armor sets in the game. If you have done PvP at all, you have most likely come across this set multiple times. And I do really like the cape that's on it. You have crazy resistances, damage negation, poise, that whole thing. I gotta say though that the chest looks a lot better with the cape. And once you defeat Commander Nile in Castle Sol, you can buy this set from Enia at the Round Table Hold for 18,000 runes. The Vulgar Militia set drops from Vulgar Militia Men, and you can find a ton of them near Bestial Sanctum and the Farum Great Bridge in Northern Caelid. I honestly do like this set, especially the helmet. I mean, just look at the shape of this thing. In terms of stats though, this is a lighter armor, so it doesn't have insane resistances or negation, but I do believe that it can blend with other armors decently well. Anyone who wears an outfit like this should not be messed with. The War Surgeon set makes my blood boil, just because I know it was worn by that cheeky bastard Varay. The white mask will increase your attack power by 10% for 20 seconds after inflicting blood loss on an enemy, which is a great buff considering how strong bleed is in this game. You get the whole set from defeating the nameless white mask invaders in the blood-filled lake west of the Palace Ledge Road side of Grace. The White Reed set is downright sexy. I absolutely love this armor. If you are into samurai, I'm sure you will enjoy this armor too. The chest, gauntlets, and greaves are found in Spirit Caller Cave next to the frozen lake in the mountaintops. Then the rather horrid Okina mask, which raises your dexterity by 3 but lowers your focus by 44, is received after defeating Bloody Finger Okina in front of the Church of Repose in the mountaintops. And finally, the last armor set we are looking at is the Zamor set. You got the mask, which I just now realized is smiling, but then there's the armor, the bracelets, and the leg wraps. It is as light as it looks, so don't expect much on the defensive side of things. With the right amount of endurance though, you could definitely light roll with this, and it is acquired after defeating the Ancient Hero of Zamor boss at the end of the Giant Conquering Hero's Grave, which of course is located in the mountaintops. So yeah, there you guys go. That was every single armor set in Elden Ring. Hopefully I didn't miss anything. Go ahead and comment down below what your favorite armor combination is. It doesn't have to just be one set, it can be any assortment of pieces. And while you're down there, you know, if you enjoyed the video, once again, hit the like, subscribe, noti bell for future content, you know the deal. Just stay safe, and I will see you in the next video. You filthy animal.